Okay. Uh, what is Push-Ups for Patriots?
Push-Ups for Patriots, it's a fundraiser we started 3 years ago at Bristol Central High School. It raises money for the Semper Fi Fund, which is based out of California, but basically they do a great job of raising money for military families in need. Recently they started something called America's Fund as well, so it's not just the Marines, it's actually all 5 branches are recipients of the funding. They do a great job with their overhead. About 94% of all money raised goes directly back to the families, and so they're able to function on fairly low overhead costs in their office, which is awesome. The event itself started actually at Avon Old Farms Prep School, right down the road here from Bristol Central. A good friend of mine, retired Major John Bergalt, who was a Marine, and had this idea 10 years ago. This will be their 10th year doing it there. And I've been involved for 6 or 7 years, and actually one year I couldn't make their event. I was going to be on vacation, and so decided to start our own here at Bristol Central. So the first year we did it, we did 15,000 push-ups and ran 50 miles, which was a bad idea. And in the past couple of years, we've done the push-up aspect, so done 15,000 push-ups.
What motivated you to join this cause, or do you have any personal connections to it?
As far as 2 reasons, I think. The initial motivator was just doing a really cool thing with a bunch of really cool people. I don't personally come from a military family. My wife does. Her father and brother both are military members, and so that's something that did play a role. But really, Major Bergalt and the Avon Old Farms community really immersed themselves into this, and it was a really cool environment to do it. And so that's how I got involved there. But the more I thought about it, I had a good friend in high school who was an Army Ranger, and on his 5th tour in Afghanistan, he lost his leg. And that's something that just resonated with me as I'm thinking, how lucky we are, to be living here in Bristol or in Connecticut or in the United States and have the freedoms we have. And these guys are literally sacrificing their limbs for us. And so whenever the push-ups got hard or the running component got hard, at least we have legs to get sore, legs to hurt, So my buddy Joe, who has now been deployed 6 times since, as an amputee, was the first ever Ranger to go back into a combat zone as an amputee, which is
That's crazy.
Pretty badass, pretty wild, and so kind of just motivated by all these people that do so much for us that often go unrecognized. So to raise the money to help them is something I think that's really important.
All right. What have you learned while joining this, or did you learn anything about the people or anything about yourself doing this event?
All of the above. I learned how great people can be. I think in the news we see there's so much bad publicity just on the human race. It's always a fire, a murder, a car accident, a war being started. And people, I really believe, inherently are really good. And to see the outreach of support from the Bristol Central community, but the Bristol community in general, we've raised over $10,000, and every year continues to get bigger. This past year we had over 330 participants. A lot of local businesses that don't have to help, but they have been making donations, whether it's financial or with goods and services, food, things of that nature. So it gives me some faith that people are good and want to help others. I learned a ton about myself too, and it's not the reason that we do it, but I can tell you that it's something that I'm a much stronger, I think, better person personally because of it. Just knowing what I physically could do, and so things that aren't as challenging but are still challenging seem a lot easier. If you can do 15,000 push-ups in a day or run 50 miles and endure that pain and suffering, because it's not easy, it sucks, it's really, really hard. Things that may be difficult seem much easier. So I've learned that your body can do a lot more than your mind says it can. To just kind of dig deep and persevere. And I think it does it for the kids too, for the group of kids that have come. And we've had students complete the full 24 hours before, and that's, I really think, formative and life-changing and something that you can't take away, And so it's for the charity, but it's also to teach, the students in the Bristol community about service and how important it is, and the power of the human spirit and what we can do.
All right. How do you plan to attract more people to the event or expand it? or if you plan on doing that at all.
Yeah, we definitely want to see it continue to get bigger. So far it's been mostly word to mouth. Social media platforms, Twitter and Facebook have been used. We had some great publicity last year where both NBC 30 and WFSB, two local news stations, showed up and filmed live from the event on Sunday morning. And so it was kind of like Anchorman, the movie, where it was like opposing networks in the opposite corners of the gym and, kind of going live from the event. So, just that clip I know got close to 50,000 views online, which is, really pretty cool. Word to mouth and being out in the community, I think the more success we have, continue to get bigger, and just hoping to keep it going. Now that we have it fairly solidified, it's we want to raise more money this year and have more people involved and give as much back to the Semper Fi Fund as we can.
Say I have no connection to any of this event, like I just heard about it randomly. Why would I want to come as a person?
Again, it's a productive way to spend time. It's uplifting. You see, in the middle of the night, at 3 o'clock in the morning, when there's still 80, 90, 100 people in the gym doing push-ups, hanging out, with all the bad that we hear about, it's a bunch of kids, teenagers, that are choosing to come to school on a weekend night and work out and raise money and help others. I can think of a student last year who, almost single-handedly got me through the night just by his antics, his being, just really focused on it and doing the push-ups, but it was a breath of energy. And so, I can tell you that as a full participant for the past bunch of years now, the more people that are around, the better. And it's just a really positive atmosphere. There's music playing, there's people laughing and having fun, and it's fun. I wish it was more enjoyable for those of us doing the full thing, but even then it's worthwhile and beneficial. But for those people who do come to witness it or watch or participate for even a half hour, an hour, the feedback has been that it's fun. People have fun there. And I know you can probably speak to it maybe more than I can, because that's just great to hear.
You might have already said this, but I'm going to ask it again. How much money have you made over the last 3 years?
So it's over the past 3 years, it's a little over $10,000. This year was our biggest year yet. We were about $4,000. And so, we raised about $3,000 the first year, mid threes the second year, 3,400, and this year was right about $4,000. And so, it's been progress. It's slow but sure. One of my big goals is to make sure that we run a good event to keep people coming back. And so, I donate a lot of money as far as towards goods and services, but a lot of the local businesses, I'm not asking for money as much as food and drinks and donations to make sure that participants have a good experience while here. And so now that I'm comfortable that we have that experience, now it's time to, hopefully raise a little bit more. And I'm hoping to employ, more people, kids, clubs at the school to maybe help me a little bit more. It's kind of been a one-person show, which is cool and fine, but I think it has the power to do a lot of good for a lot of people. And so to maybe get people involved more in the planning process and to get it going, especially with this new job as an assistant principal, there's not a lot of free time. And so, looking forward just to getting more people out in the community and spreading the word.
All right. When is the next event? Do you have a set date, or?
We don't have a specific date, but right now we can actually, I think, do it. This is a big moment. We always try to do it the weekend of the state open for the wrestling tournament.
Yeah.
So let's see. It's always in late February or early March. That much we definitely know. And so wrestling. Important dates. So it looks to me like it's going to be the 24th. February 24th this year is tentative. But that's usually we do it the weekend of the state open for wrestling because we know the gym is open here. Yeah. So not much time to prepare. Usually I start after football season. I coached high school football for years. And we work out every morning anyway, but late November we'll start for 2 to 3 months really focus on some training and getting ready to make sure we can get the full 24 hours in.
Do you have anything else to add about the event or anything? Or
No, I mean, I know this is just for a college paper, but I think the more people we have involved, if everybody who's coming to pass could just bring one friend, I mean, boy, that's doubling the size right there. We do the same thing. So, it's a lot of fun. It's a great event. It raises money for a really good cause. It's gotten great publicity, which I think is only going to help. But again, it's not about me. It's not about it's about the charity. It's about people kind of making some small sacrifices to help those who've made much larger sacrifices, for our own benefit.
all right, that's it.